66.6 WMAW Devil Dog Radio. That was the Untouchables doing Free Yourself. For that, a band called Death did Politicians in Your Eyes. Easy Rider by Jimi Hendrix. The Star Spangled Banner by Mr. Private Jimi Hendrix from Woodstock, 1969. Beautiful Blasphemy. And we started off the Devil Dog Radio Black History Month Birthday Bash Block Party with Funkadelic doing One Nation Under a Groove. I am your Hellhound host, Phlegm-riddled Sarge, and for the next couple hours you're going to hear some fucking great music from black artists as we celebrate Black History Month and the black community. Let's fucking get into the music. I did want to mention the band Death, that song Politicians in Your Eyes that you heard at the in the middle of that set. 3 brothers out of Detroit, Michigan, who were doing punk back in the early 70s in their bedroom. They couldn't get a record deal. They recorded a whole album, couldn't get a deal, because, you know, why would they? So a masterpiece of an album sat literally in an attic, in a box, for 35 years collecting dust. And then the vinyl community found one of their 45s at a Goodwill, and I guess there was only 500 ever pressed, and it started creating a buzz, and people were like, this is insane. There's 2 songs on this 45, and they're phenomenal. Who is this band? What happened? A Netflix documentary was made, and they were finally able to release their album, and they got back together and started making new music and touring, and so that album is by the band Death, and the album is called Death for the World to See. If you understand the year that it was created and listen to that music, it is so far ahead of its time that it's one of those really rare gifts of a band and its music that sat dormant. No one knew anything about it, and then was discovered, and that's what I live for. That is what I live for. Anyway, greetings, my fellow beasties, and welcome to the MAW 66.6 WMAW. I'll be whipping my kinky sled team of subs into a frothing hot cup of piss-flavored entertainment for y'all today. So put your headphones on, or speakers, or earbuds. I don't know what you have. Put something on. For God's sakes, put some clothes on. And I would suggest, to enhance your experience, if you could take your audio device and turn it completely off, and then if you could drop it safely into a slush puddle, you're really going to get the most out of the show if you can do that. Okay, Black History Month in the United States. They gave 1 month for Black History. What month was it? It was the shortest month of the year in the middle of fucking dead winter. Thanks, America. Somehow, you always seem to make it worse. But you know what? It's not a month. Black History Month is every day, because with the Republican right wing of this country trying to literally erase the existence of black people. You think I'm joking? You've read the news. States are banning the Bible. Or excuse me, I wish. It was wishful thinking there. Listen, if I owned a state, I ban the Bible. You know when you go into a hotel and they have those Bibles and the things? I wipe myself on it, and then I write in it. And like fucking, I autograph it like it's Jesus, like I'm Jesus, and then I write this like inscriptions, and it's really fun for the next people who have that room, who want to brush up on Leviticus or whatever the fuck it is. But some states are literally banning the dictionary, the one with all the words, because we can't be trusted as adults to we can't be trusted with words and language and communication. But it's not about that, obviously. It's about trying to control people, trying to erase your shithole history of this country. suffice it to say, that's why it's so important to know your history, to know about other cultures other than your own, to protect those cultures, to broadcast those cultures, to make sure that they're not wiped from history in this fascist piece of shit country we call America. So that's what we're doing tonight. That's our jobs for the rest of our lives. As if I could, Jon Stewart, Daily Show person, as you probably know or don't, he put it best with, the whole freedom. You have to be vigilant, not before an election, not during an election, not after an election, every fucking moment of every day of the rest of your life. When there's people trying to take your freedom and your rights and your history and kill and wipe out your people, whether it's the black community, LGBTQIA, there is not a moment's rest. There's not a moment where we don't fight to make sure that evil doesn't happen. And we do that by any means necessary. So tonight we're going to celebrate the countless contributions, creativity, soul, strength, courage, and history of the black community. And so I want you all on your fucking feet, and let's kick out the jams, motherfucker. This is the Barcades on 66.6 WMAW. Wow! Fucking Prince, motherfuckers. 66.6 WMAW Devil Dog Radio. Prince, and the Revolution doing Let's Go Crazy. We lost a legend when Prince passed. Holy shit. If he was just a guitar player, he's a fucking genius. But he did a whole lot more than that. Outstanding. Before that, Mark Ronson, it's a Mark Ronson track, but Q-Tip, the Abstract, from A Tribe Called Quest, does the rap in that. Tribe Called Quest, one of my favorite hip-hop groups ever. And the name of that track was Bang, Bang, Bang. We heard some quotes from one of my absolute heroes, and I don't say that word lightly, Muhammad Ali. Sly and the Family Stone did Dance to the Music. Eddie Grant did Electric Avenue. And we started things off with Stax recording artist The Barcades doing Soulfinger. Yeah, it is Black History Month. And this is our fucking Black History block party birthday bash here on the mighty WMAW. Thank you all for joining in. We got some old friends I haven't seen in a while. But new friends, new old friends that I have seen sooner rather than later. There's a... I like to create really confusing sentences because it makes me happy. So, and that's what it's all about. I fucking love you. I hope life is treating you well. And if it isn't, let's just crank it up and let's let the music do the fucking talking, all right? But first, I'm going to do it. There is, what I tried to do with this show, well, musically, it's a small fraction of the artists and songs that are have been a huge influence to me since I was a kid, growing up, and also finding new artists, new black artists. And I have a block coming up of brand new stuff from bands you've never heard of before. But musically, the fucking world's in good shape. There is a movie, and I don't know if you've seen it. You've heard of Bruce Lee, right? Have you ever seen his greatest movie, Enter the Dragon, 1973? He had passed away before it was released. There is... I hesitate to call him an actor. He is an actor, but he was the real fucking deal, and his name was Jim Kelly. When you talk about icons in the black community, from someone like me who was born in the 60s and grew up in the 70s, I mean, for me, I have to mention Jim Kelly. And the fun part is I'm pretty sure not a lot of you know who that is. Like I said, it's from the greatest kung fu movie ever made, Enter the Dragon. Bruce Lee he's on another level as far as how he is seen and idolized and all that. It's mystical, sort of. It's kind of a mystical thing. But who could possibly, in a movie with Bruce Lee as the star, who could be more badass or cooler than Bruce Lee? Jim motherfucking Kelly, that's who. He was the 1971 martial art champion, like in real life, not in the movie. So when he started doing movies, his charisma and everything was the real deal. So if you want to go Google Jim Kelly, whatever, watch Enter the Dragon. It's all over the place. I mean, Tubi's like a free streaming service. It's on there. Go watch it. Jim Kelly, that is one of the coolest motherfuckers I have ever seen in my life. And I could still quote his fucking lines from Enter the Dragon. So, like I said, go watch the movie, Google Jim Kelly, and do it right now, motherfuckers. You will be quizzed. Here's a band, black artists, 3-piece from New York and New Jersey, playing their own genre of Harlem rhythm punk. This is Winter Wolf and the song Dead Body Fuck Party on 66.6 WMAW.
Oh, let's get a dead body fuck party. Lying piece of sack of shit, slut trash can, scummest dirtbag bitch.
Little Richard, holy shit. Every black artist has a story of they were chased out of places, beaten up, refused to play, not paid, you name it. So for Little Richard, they're flamboyant. He at one time said he was gay, then he found Jesus, and then he wasn't gay, and Jesus prayed away his own gaiety. Doesn't matter. That's that's punk rock right there as far as I'm fucking concerned. This is our birthday bash point of the show. We have 2 birthday beasts today. We're going to be celebrating the births, the lives and births. Not just the birth, because we didn't want to give your mom too much credit in this, but the birthdays of Ursus and Blythe. Now, Ursus is my brother from another mother, who has one of the biggest, sweetest hearts I've ever known. He's more family to me than the people who pooped out my mother's womb, if you'd like to visualize that and take it to your therapist. It's your fucking birthday, man. I know I missed it, but we're doing it now, and then when you get here, we're going to do it again and again and again. So, and then the other birthday beast is Blythe. Now, he's our village idiot mutt with a heart of pure gold-plated scrap Taiwan plastic. But, I mean, he's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but he is a tool nonetheless. And that is something to be proud of. Listen, we all have our things that make us happy. And he likes to be treated. He likes to be treated as the lowest form of sub, and I respect that, and I love him. And so I know some of this might sound mean and cruel. Trust me, for the intended audience, it is not. So, but yeah. So I want to wish Blythe a very happy birthday. He probably doesn't even know it's his birthday or what a birthday is or even how babies are made. But I want to wish him and Ursus the happiest birthdays since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye. I love you both. And I hope that this show adds to your enjoyment of your birthing memories. I know it does me. So this next set is going out to the Blythe, the birthday mutt. This is for you. Happy birthday. Yeah, big old Hellhound happy birthday to Blythe and Ursus. This whole show's going out to you guys, as well as obviously us honoring Black History Month. That was Happy Idiot by TV on the Radio. Utopia did Feet Don't Fail Me Now. Chip the Black Boy did Am I Weird? The Studs did Funky Feet, and we started that off with XTC doing Mayor of Simpleton. You are listening to 66.6 WMAW deep inside the maw here on a fucking thick Thursday. And that's the other thing, is if you hear these songs and you have the means, obviously, because not everyone does in this world that is on fucking fire right now. But if you have the means and you like one of these songs, go to the band's website, buy the vinyl, buy the CD, buy the digital downloads, some merch. That way the money's going straight to them. Support these bands, you know? Like, I was a musician from close to day one because my family's very musical. I was a professional musician for 5 years, and I understand it isn't easy. It's not easy, and any kind of support you can give these artists is so appreciated and so needed, so they don't have to fucking go on bended knee to goddamn record companies. And people can. There's pros and cons for technology and the World Wide Web, and there's good and bad that comes with technology. One of the good things that came with it is, as far as musical artists are concerned, now your goddamn phone has GarageBand on it, or you can get a free multi-track recording thing on your goddamn phone or your computer. It's so easy now for anyone to make music, anyone to create music that's professional quality and put it out there for the world to hear. Back before that, no one got to hear your shit unless you blew your way up to the bottom of a record company. Unless you were, see, it started back in the 50s and or the 70s, 60s, 50s, going on back, before internet, before television. It was not always talent, but shit, that's what it was focused on. What somebody heard, and it didn't matter if they were, if they were 12 sexy Korean boys, who were doing dance moves on skateboards. Like, that didn't, no, it's like, was the music any good? Who gives a shit if music is played by what someone deems unattractive? I ain't here. Listen, my kinky community, that's where I go to fuck things. But music, I just want to hear. I want to hear what you got to fucking say and how you're gonna say it. So yeah, I like the state of technology for musical artists. Hell, even other kinds of artists. It's a great way to get free exposure. You don't have to, again, blow your way to a record label showcase, which I've played a couple of. You wanna know pressure? Just know that somebody from a record company is in the audience watching, and they could sign you, and that was back before I knew about it. That was like a dream. So you're like, oh God, I hope this is good. And but you don't need to do that anymore. Like, you could create something and you put it out there, all these websites and shit, and YouTube and Bandcamp and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can find your audience. I guess that's what we're doing here. I'm not creating the music, but I'm putting it together into something that's, I think, tells a story. I don't know if you want to call. I don't even listen. DJ, you're playing other people's music. If you're into the Wicca Wicca and the Big Knob thing, you're fucking up other people's music. I don't listen. There's some great dance mixes. There are some DJs that are really talented in fucking creating different feels and breaking up pieces of music, and I feel that's an art form. I feel you're not just like you're creating something from something else, which is the way everything's made. If you make a goddamn seashell fucking teacup cozy, you got the seashell down at the beach, and you got the cup over at the thing, and you kind of put it together in a way that made you fucking happy. Maybe it's not art at the highest level, but man, you created something that didn't exist before that fucking made you happy. I think that's fucking valid. I think that's fucking awesome. So, yeah, I mean, these bands are the real stars. These artists are the real stars. But I think sometimes in the way that you can present the music and make little storylines or this and that, I think you can add to that creativity. What the fuck is he talking about? I'm sure the audience is saying. Anyway, the audience, and I look back and I actually have one for once. Yes, not for once. You know what I mean. 10. That's fucking. Those are big numbers for me. This is like Wembley Stadium, Wimby Stadium. This next set, I was telling you, is all brand new, cutting edge artists from the black community. You probably haven't heard them. That's okay. You're going to hear them now. And like I said, the state of music is in good hands. They are making some badass music. So let's kick the jolly old gnome in the balls with Pleasure Venom doing Death here on 66.6 Devil Dog Radio. Yeah, there it is. There it is right there, everybody. Are you not entertained? Or should the microphone even be anywhere near my muzzle at this point? No, it should not. That was a fucking block of some amazing fucking music. I don't know. I don't know what else would be. If you weren't moved by any of that, I cannot help you. That was Mags doing Wait. Before that, Vagabond did Water Me Down. Ebony Tusks did HDF. You heard the legend, Richard Pryor. Black Hippie did If You Feel Alone at Parties. And Pleasure Venom started us off with Death. Thank you for listening to 66.6 WMAW Devil Dog Radio here on Thursday, February 22nd. We're celebrating Black History Month. We're celebrating birthdays of Ursus and Blythe and anyone else. If you've had a birthday in the past 12 months, this is all for you, because I got very few brain cells left, and those are just expertly focused on my penis. I have nothing. They can't. I got, you got to pick and choose, people. Either I can remember my times tables, or as an old broken dog, I could still shoot against the back wall. And I'll do it later in the show. Please stay tuned. All good humor aside. I wanted to, we were talking about heroes and how, in preparing for the show, I just sort of meditated on figures in Black history that impacted me. And to be honest, I have enough music and figures and to do 100 shows. And I know we're at the end of the, but like I said, just because the end of the month happens doesn't mean we stop. So I am going to do another Black history show. We're talking about heroes, and this is going to be hard to get through. But one of my true heroes, someone I put up in the same category as my parents, is Muhammad Ali. And it's not about boxing or sport. It was his story. You know, a poor black kid with an entire country against him, and he found a way to convince himself that he was as good or better than anyone else. And he was. He didn't bend anyone's will. He never broke. And this same racist country that wouldn't let him drink out of a white water fountain or eat at a white restaurant or vote or have any of the same rights as white people, the same white people who are beating and murdering his brothers and sisters, and that same country demanded that he go to fight and kill and die for a flag, a flag that represents a chunk of stolen land that doesn't give a shit about him or his people, to go to Vietnam. They wanted him to go die in a war to liberate other people. When the flag and everything that it signified didn't give a shit about him, and he refused. This was when the draft was in effect back in the 60s and 70s. When you got a mailer, and I actually am old enough to have gotten a draft mailer. You got something in the mail if you were of age, and you had to go. You had to go. And if you didn't, it was a felony. They would put you in prison. Go and kill for this fucking country. Go and die for it. Or go to prison. And of course, you know, they sent more black people and people of color than they and poor white folks than they did, than the Bone Spur Brigade ever did. And but again, Muhammad Ali, he went to the induction ceremony. He stood, and when they said to step forward, he refused. And his famous line from that about refusing to go to Vietnam was, "No Viet Cong ever called me nigger." They sentenced him to 5 years in prison, stripped him of his boxing titles that he earned, and they wouldn't let him earn a living in the country. And his strength and conviction and grace that he showed in standing up to what he knew was right and wrong is something that helped a fat kid from a small farm town in New England who was teased and bullied and who teachers said shouldn't speak because his opinion didn't matter, and who no one took seriously. Muhammad Ali taught me that if I found, created, nurtured, strengthened, and believed in my value as a human being, no matter what my lot in life, no matter who was against me, no matter what anyone else said, that I was as good as anyone else, and I was free. You are who you choose to be. And that when someone makes you feel small and tells you you're too weak and stupid or worthless to accomplish anything of value, you use that to prove them wrong. Spite, they always try to say, Christians always try to say spite and pride are bad things. In this world, you use what you have to motivate you. And you use it to prove something to the people who said you couldn't do it, and you prove something to yourself. So when I say Muhammad Ali is my hero, I fucking mean it.
I'm saying you talking about me about some draft, and all of you white boys are breaking your neck to get to Switzerland and Canada and London. I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'll die now, right here fighting you. If I'm going to die, you my enemy. My enemy is the white people, not Vietcong's or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
Yeah, that is Bad Brains doing Banned in DC here on 66.6 Devil Dog Radio. NWA did Fuck the Police. Kendrick Lamar did Complexion. Mafia did Welfare. Public Enemy did Fight the Power. And Miss Nina Simone started us off with Mississippi Goddamn. All right, we're going to breathe. I don't want the rest of it to be about anger. Oh, there's going to be some anger, but not. We got to calm the fuck down. All right. Anyway, I have another little story for you. Again, when preparing for the show, was thinking about what black figures at the earliest age, what impacted me, because I come from a tiny farming town in New England. It's all white, and being in a sheltered little tiny town, again, back in the, before you could drive, and back when it was scary, don't go to the cities because you're gonna get robbed. It's like all this shit that your parents and everything else, all their own fears and shit that they learned from their parents and everything. So there was no influence, there was no television, movies, music, certainly. So I was very kind of, in the town I was in, was very sheltered, and I was trying to think of how did I start to learn about the black community and history and their history, and so one of the first instances that happened for me. Now, my father was a Hall of Fame race car driver in the late 40s and 50s. And from day one, our family's lives revolved around racing. Family vacations were, we're going to this race. And then after, maybe if we have time, we'll go to Disney. But it always revolved around seeing races, and magazines would come to the house, and of course my dad, being my dad and my hero, was like endless stories. People would come over to the house and sit around the campfire with beers, and you'd hear these just incredible stories about his career and life. And he owned an auto parts store, and I would go to work with him, and all the race teams, he would take me to the garages, and I get to sit in the cars and meet the drivers, and it was like that was the world I lived in. Racing was what I lived and breathed. And people seemed to know my father, like, wherever we went. If we were at a track or event in the Northeast, like clockwork, someone would recognize him and call his name, and a little fat puppy Sarge would stand there beside him holding his hand as they talked for what felt like, weeks. And the person who recognized him, they'd gush about watching him race at some of the tracks and all the memories they had of his career. And so one night, my dad took me to a race up at Riverside Park in Agawam, Mass. And it was a racetrack that was part of an amusement park. So you could go, it was really cool. They've since, Six Flags, you motherfuckers, the corporate thing, they decided, let's put in a shitty fucking water feature, so we're just going to bulldoze the track. Thanks, all the history, fucking assholes. Anyways, this isn't about that. So one night we're there, and a black gentleman and my father recognized each other, and they started like, "Oh my God!" They started talking, and they're all excited, and their faces lit up, and they just started, "Oh my God, how you doing?" And like, after they talked and shook hands and all that stuff for a bit, my father turned to, I don't even know, was I 8? I don't know, an 8-year-old me, and introduced me to the man. And he's like, "This is Booker T. He was like a hell of a race car driver." And Booker like grunted, and he was modest, and he's like, he like told me, I was like, "I used to watch your dad race, and he was the best." And and later on, my dad, or actually, I don't think it was later on, I think even then, my father explained to me, he was like, Booker was like the first black driver in the Northeast. And so that stayed with me. Now, auto racing is, in my experience, and in pretty much everybody's experience, the most racist sport there is. Which kills me. It kills me that something that I still to this day have an interest in, for whatever reason. You can make all the jokes like, "Hey, they just go left and boat's boring and da 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 da," and I'm like, and it's race. It is racist and it's shit, and I fucking hate everyone involved with it. Let me just right. And I wish I didn't give a shit, but when something's it's tied to my family and my childhood, it's ingrained in me. So as I got older and learned more about the world and everything else, it's a little bittersweet, because it is something that I care about to a degree. It's not like I care as in, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? As an interest, as something that I really have an interest in. And I'm a geek about it. I could tell you about car setups and spring rates and camber. Like, again, I idolize my dad. My dad was a race car driver. That was his world. And to me, it was like Narnia. It's like a more racist Narnia, if that was even possible. So I think about, like, I live 10 minutes from a track that my dad used to race at. And I talk about it and talk about my dad, and I'm all excited and happy. And I have this urge, like, I want to take you guys to the cold knife of reality comes down pretty quick on that circumcision. It's like, if I went to a racetrack with my gay self and my 2 gay husbands, we would have to fight our way out. I'm not bringing people I love into a hostile environment. It's just not going to happen. And you could say, "Oh, that's maybe is it a little bit of paranoia? Is a little bit no. 2 years ago, an openly gay race photographer was jumped and beaten up and hospitalized at there's a track's probably 25 minutes from where I live. So it's a thing. But and this is the point. So can you imagine being a black man in the 1950s? I told you about what's happening now. In the 1950s, and showing up to a hostile environment, a racetrack, to compete against people who hated you, who were against your existence. See, the thing is there are thousands of stories, more than, of that, having to overcome that kind of adversity just to exist, to do something you enjoyed, that you loved, that you wanted to do. If you showed up at the races, okay, back in the 50s, blacks couldn't sit in the same section. There's a special, couldn't use the same bathrooms, couldn't use the same water fountain. So if you showed up to a racetrack as a black person in the 1950s, not even as a driver, again, you're going to have to fight your way out. It's a hostile environment. It is not a place that you want to go to. But he wanted to do it. So he did. I mean, other drivers would run him off the track and try to intimidate him, and he would push back, and he eventually earned their respect. And he was one, and I looked it up because it is part of racing history. He was one of the first black drivers in the sport, and I had the honor to meet him and shake his hand, and that is pretty fucking cool to me. So, one of the pioneers of a sport that, by and large, is not a place where people of color, minorities can thrive, but every once in a while someone very special comes along and defies the odds, and that's fucking cool.
Y'all are crazy, man.
Timeless Delight doing Groove is in the Heart on Devil Dog Radio. Holy shit. Earth, Wind, and Fire. It fucking is there any fucking smoother? Is there any fucking smoother funky grooves than that from the 70s? I don't think so. The immortal late great Patrice O'Neal. Holy shit. I think I strained a muscle in my stomach, if I had one, laughing. And I've heard that 1,000 times. It just never stops being funny, especially when you're high. Tina Turner. Oh my God, the Queen. Actually, this is the Princess Tina Turner doing River Deep, Mountain High. Queen being Aretha Franklin doing Rock Steady. And we started things off with Shirley Bassey and Propellerhead doing History Repeating. It has been a fucking show, people. I got food on the way. I'm spent. I've urinated no less than 42 times. Next time I really need to wear a diaper during these. You needed to know that. But anyway, thank you so much for joining us for the Black History Month block party. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I want to thank our tech Tiggy Kai, moderator Tahoe, my beautiful tiger husband who's out getting food right now for me, the birthday beasts Blythe and Ursus, and all of you for tuning in. Fucking thank you. I love you so much. You be good to yourselves, and we'll see you next time.
A friend is one who will not even consider giving his life for you. That's a friend. Everybody you name are with me for money and for what they can get. I don't have no friends. I wrote a poem that says, friendship is a priceless gift that cannot be bought nor sold, but its value is far greater than a mountain made of gold. For gold is cold and lifeless. It can neither see nor hear, and in time of trouble it is powerless to cheer. Gold, it has no ears to listen, no heart to understand. It cannot not bring you comfort or reach out a helping hand. So when you ask God for a gift, be thankful if he sends, not diamonds, pearls, or riches, but the love of real, true friends. See, friends are very rare.